Girl Talk. Hi there.
How are you today?
I'm very well. Are you going to be stable with that headpiece?
Feather and movement. I tell you, the wind's a bit of a worry.
Because we are here in Commercial Road this year, normally Brunswick Street, so any comparisons so far?
I think this is far, far better here than in Brunswick Street.
Really?
Yeah, really and truly.
What's on your shopping list for Midsumma this year?
I desperately want one of those pink dots.
How lovely to see you. Of course, you are wearing a little bit of leather here today.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Are you all lesbians?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. We are.
It's great. I love it.
Going to go on any of these big rides?
No.
Oh, why not?
We're just going to have a drink.
I don't want to blow your cover on camera, but you've got a hickey on your neck. Now, how is Outrage going these days?
It's going splendidly.
It's not really kosher to talk shop, though, is it?
No, I think we're just all here to have a fabulous time.
Any verdicts on the Commercial Road venue?
Oh, we love it.
Are you a north side boy or a south side?
Absolutely, north
side.
side.
And maybe the Laird?
Possibly, right.
There's not quite as many dykes as there were at Brunswick Street, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Have I just eaten a fly? What's going on here?
No, well, any tips for the heat? Because I think there might be a little bit more hot weather on the way.
Wear as little as possible.
I wouldn't be surprised if the dykes come out later when it's much cooler because they've got brains.
This is true.
What's coming up on Joy?
You're coming up on Joy this year, Kaye.
Am I?
Yes.
Have you just arrived?
About half an hour ago.
So had a bit of a wander up and down?
Yes, and a bit of a two-step.
Well, we all donated money to Midsumma, and we were given a pink dot for doing so.
This is the changing face of lesbians, everybody. Can I talk heart to heart with you?
Yes,
here?
darling.
Because I'm interested in this Pauline pants down thing you did.
Yes, well, at the moment it's currently been banned from radio and the injunction will be fought soon in the Supreme Court.
No sense of humour. They're very serious up north, aren't they?
They are indeed, and
In Oxley.
it's not very Australian of them.
So don't forget to tune in to Joy Melbourne 90.7 FM.
Hello! Hello! I'm being so rude. I'm never going to get a gig in a girls' bar, that's for sure. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, my God, get a shot of his backside.
And there really wasn't the range of bars or venues or whatever. And I think a lot of young people today don't realise they're in paradise, really. Oh, I sound like an old person. Oh yes, said this voice down the phone. Oh yes, come to lunch and come today, he said. So I thought, I can't be late. So I fled down to the subway and found my way down to this place. Turned up, he was nowhere in sight, I might add. And I'm sitting there waiting for him, and I said to the guy, I'm waiting for Mr. Crisp. Ah, yes, he says. And this was his local diner, like just down the corner. And when I said that, a young man at the table behind me got up and said, oh, you're waiting for Mr. Crisp, eh? So he came and joined me. And eventually there was lunch for about 8 people, I think. They all turned up. And this was part of the local entertainment and just part of the way that he lives his life. And I don't want to be unkind to the old gentleman because he's a survivor and he's worthy of respect as much as anybody. But I must admit I was rather bored because what he was doing was playing the persona of Quentin Crisp. He wasn't interested in really communicating, I felt. He wanted to play the role, keep the same old lines going in response to a question. Now, my experience was rather strange because I had quite a powerful attraction to men or whatever, but didn't have a label. It wasn't until I was in the equivalent of the HEC year we had a swimming day or something, and I must have been ogling this guy who was rather attractive, and he suddenly said "poofda," and in a split second I thought, yes, he's right. If I'd been coming out at the time when AIDS was with us but we didn't really know about it, I mean, I think I'd probably be dead. But in some ways I'd got through all that sort of frantic sexual activity, not that I've given it all up by any means. And I suppose it's very difficult to imagine what it'd be like for a young person coming out now without the AIDS worry. I mean, they just have to be aware of it because it is a reality. It has changed, because in the 70s, 60s, 70s, there was the whole thing about gay lib was, you know, do it and what's the problem, and do it a bit more, you know, it's part of who we are. The first Mardi Gras was that year. People were arrested. And that Mardi Gras was at that stage to protest against the oppression is a terribly dated word, but the attitudes that impinged on gay people. And there was another march where people were also arrested. So most of that day was spent in custody, photographed by ASIO or someone, although they said they didn't. And all the names and addresses were published on the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald. So I got this abusive letter in the mail from some dingbat from hell. There was a big issue about that at the time. I mean, they wouldn't be able to get away with that now. And I think one case went to trial because the person was going overseas and they pleaded guilty and were charged. And the rest was opposed, and the charges were eventually all dropped. I remember at the time some of the officers were rather, you know, verbally abusive to people. But it was also hilarious. I mean, we're all lined up getting our heights taken and photos and stuff, and they're asking people their names, and someone said Oscar Wilde, you know. And the copper never heard the word, you know, didn't know that it was giving a false name. Sometime when I was growing up, because I studied the piano, I used to listen to radio a lot. This was pre-TV. And some of the commercial stations in Melbourne, believe it or not, had classical music programs. And I remember hearing a piece called Dance of the Gnomes, which is a short piano piece by Liszt, played by a Hungarian pianist called Julian Karoli. And that started to get me interested. And Liszt was a very colourful, very charismatic personality. And I find him quite fascinating, obviously, because you wouldn't want to read about someone and collect books and stuff like that, because he was also a spiritual seeker. He was someone who changed his focus all the way through his life and was a very spiritually developed character. I'm not religious as such, and I must admit I tend to react against it. Without being too specific, I mean, any religious leader, good, bad or indifferent, can only be in that role if people give him the power to do it. And it's largely him, it's basic. And I sometimes see bits on television and think, I can't believe what these people are just allowing to happen. They've been conned, because I think you have to do it yourself. And if I had to choose anything, it'd be Zen or Buddhism. Because the Buddha said to his followers, when he was dying apparently, no one can save you, you have to do the work yourself. And the minute you say that person will save me, whoever it is, political leader, lover, whatever, you're giving your responsibility for your life over to them. And I don't see how anybody can do that. You can still have people that you follow that are your icons, and for a lot of people these days there may be cultural things that they're responding to. Princess Diana and her death had a big effect on people, which I found fascinating. It was an archetypal sort of thing, and she had a role for good in the world in the sort of things that she was doing. Not a traditional religious figure at all, but affected many, many people. Yeah, I am looking for the truth, and I look for it in all parts of my life. And at its highest level, and some people don't quite understand this, it is spiritual. Because if you're coming from here in your life generally, you're connected with truth as you see it, getting very heavy here. But on one level at least, that is a spiritual sort of approach. You're not playing games, you're being real, you're being honest, if you like, put it in those terms. When they talk about the me generation. And I do know some young people who are me. They're only aware of where they're at and what their feelings are.
I would like to talk to you about your promotion.
My promotion of?
Well, of course, you are now the editor of MSO.
That's right.
Now, how many issues are we into your editorial ship?
About 8.
Really?
Yeah,
and how's it going?
It's going very well.
Fantastic. Sweetheart and Girl Bar starting on Friday night. So we've got a girl bar for one night, boy bar for the other night. So it's a bit for everybody, and hopefully it'll take off like hell.
We do know that you're presenting an award this evening.
Best Drag Performance Award for the year.
Do we know who the nominations for that award are?
Yes, a fabulous, very classy Miss Candy, Doreen Manganini and Dolce de Jour.
What's your opinion on this evening's proceedings so far?
I think it's pretty good. It's very organised.
Rainbow started in 1993. That was the first year that they were held. So this year was, what, the 4th year. It was always a 3-course sit-down meal, right from the start. But yeah, it was just a lot more comfortable and a nicer venue being out in Brighton. Although the criticism, of course, there was that it was so far away, and everyone complained that it cost them a fortune in taxis getting there and getting back. It was just started without any auspicing body, essentially. It was just basically a committee who got together and produced the night. But the initial ideal, I suppose, was to recognise achievement and leadership within the gay and lesbian community.
No, there are a few areas that, I don't know, maybe you'd like some help with if you're being nominated or perhaps thinking of winning. And the first and most important piece of advice I can give is to the people whose names are being read out as nominees. A couple of don'ts here. Do not slump back in your seat looking like you were pissed off ever to be nominated in the first place. That is a don't. The other don't is to immediately start clearing your passage to the aisles in the certainty that you are going to win.
Okay. In previous years, the awards were split into 2 categories. They were the what was called the Popular Vote Awards and the Community Development Awards. Now, the Community Development Awards were always judged by a panel. Now, sometimes that was a series of panels, and other years it was just one large panel of, say, 30 or so people that would all vote on each category. And then in the popular vote, it was done by, that was judged by the community through ballot boxes at venues, essentially. That it became very bar and venue and nightclub oriented. So each year it probably became a little bit more so, because each year the venues would say yes, but I will only do it if, and yeah, it grew and evolved, but not necessarily in the way that it was originally conceived. In '97, the awards were split into 3 categories rather than 2 categories. So we got together a group of about 10 people in each of the 3 categories. And the first category was community development. Similarly, there was a panel of approximately 10 people who judged the, I think, 6 categories that came under the heading of entertainment, and the third category was leadership and achievement, and again there was another panel of people. And essentially the panels were invited to be judges, or people were quite entitled to submit essentially their application to be judges. So we had a number of people who were just from the community and who submitted a form to say what their qualification to judge in those areas were. So that was one major change. It was, I suppose, something of a controversial change. A lot of people said that you're not going to get people interested if they don't feel that they've got the ability to influence or have their say as to who's going to win whatever award.
Thank you very much. This is a great honour. Pride March, since its inception, has captured the hearts and spirits of Victorians. We're very honoured to be part of this fantastic event. I've been involved since the start and watched it grow. We expected in our first year around 2,000 people. We had 11,000. In our second year, we're looking to get 11,000. We had 23,000. This year, who knows, and beyond 2,000, even bigger.
Pastoral scenes, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolias, sweet and fresh, but then the sudden smell.
Been more of a tits and feather type show, dancing boys, etc. in previous years. This year the production team wanted to try and represent a wide range of entertainment, which was in keeping with what we were trying to do with the whole night, is represent as broad a range of gay and lesbian pursuits as possible. So that they were keen that there should be a vaudeville show, there should be an operatic piece, dance theatre, as far as possible, or all areas of live entertainment. We tried to represent them, and I think they were represented quite well. There was some really good shows amongst it all.
And the Rainbow Award goes to the Gay and Lesbian Police Employees.
Thank you, Dolph, for your very kind words. It has been a difficult year, but I really want to acknowledge all the people who have supported me, not just other police members and enlightened police officers, but all of you in the community. You've just been sensational, and Mr. Conby, the fight's just begun.
So the future of them will depend on whether someone can afford to underwrite it and be prepared to take the possible losses that might happen in the future year, or to get the venues and gay and lesbian businesses back involved to put the money up to run it again. If I'd like to see all facets of gay and lesbian pursuit represented, and certainly that should include drag and it should include venues, but it shouldn't exclude other things that are equally important, such as political pursuits, sports and recreation, health and welfare.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think one of the most valuable assets a human being can have in this life is friends. Tonight I humorous. I am among friends. Thank you.
It is the interval for the Rainbow Awards, and I have bumped into somebody over here. Miss Coco, hello there.
Hello, and happy Rainbow Awards.
Any comments on the new format of Rainbow Awards?
I love it. I live next door, so it's very convenient.
What brings you along this evening?
Just to support the gay community.
Jonathan, you have won an award here.
I did. I won the Rainbow Health and Welfare Award.
Yeah, you look truly shocked when you accepted that award.
I was truly shocked. It's pretty shocking to win something for just doing your job.
Can you tell me a little bit about AIDS Care?
Yes, we're a support group in the St Kilda area, and we provide care and support for those infected and affected by HIV/AIDS.
What do you all think?
I think it's great. I think it's nice for the different atmosphere and the different charisma and that in there. It's great.
This must be maybe the second time we've ever spoken on camera.
That's the second time I haven't won a rainbow.
I've always said that if you're looking for trash, the best place is the trash can.
That's it. Another man's trash is my treasure.
Miss Pick, of course this year you're a performer.
I was the bar girl.
Do you think you were typecast at all?
Just a tad.
Candy, congratulations,
Yeah.
Candy. We love you. We
I
think it's
do.
overdue after 15 years.
The Exchange Hotel has been with us for years.
Has it, really? That's good.
How long have you been there?
Never. I'm not with the Exchange.
Aren't you?
Hey, darling.
Where are you?
I'm with the Also.
Oh, my God. So it is the interview.
I love the breaks for the booze too, by the way.
Yeah.
She's an alcoholic like myself. We're called functioning alcoholics.
I think the format's fabulous. I'm a bit concerned about up and down these stairs to find a drink and a sandwich, though.
What's your award here for?
It's for leadership by a gay male. Absolutely extraordinary, I think.
But you've won so many. You practically monopolised it.
17 awards.
Did you expect to win that?
Well, I knew policing issues was hot on the public agenda, and I think the Victoria Police should take note of this.
It's been absolutely fantastic so far, so...
This is a face of Ben TV.
It is an X-Men TV.
How's your pet shop going?
My pet shop's thriving. It's just fantastic.
Yes, and all of the animals are being fixed up.
Oh, I fix all animals.
What am I looking? Gay male performer.
Gay male performer. And was that essentially for Boy Pussy or a whole body of work?
I think essentially Boy Pussy.
The writer of Boy Pussy.
Yes, that's right.
And it had how many seasons, do we know?
It had 2 seasons, one here in Sydney, one here in Melbourne, one in Sydney.
Yes.
Yeah.
And both seasons very well received?
They were.
God, you've got a hairy chest.
Controversial. Oh.
Toolbox, best organisation, venue or community event.
Okay, the Toolbox is a club.
That's right. Yes.
Where is it?
It's in the city.
This is the second award for Joy Melbourne.
In a row, yeah, it's fantastic.
So you must feel very humbled about this.
Very, very humble.
We're just going to call this the Ken and Doreen show and be done with it. Thanks for talking to us on camera.
Yeah!